How does MOXA get from this to this, and why? Hello there, I'm Oran Kivity, and today I'm going to take you inside Yamasho. Yamasho have been around since 1895 and they've had plenty of time to refine their processes. But refinement is something that's common across the board in Japanese culture, and Japanese acupuncture and MOXIBUSTION is no exception. So I would like to drop in some comments from my teacher, Stephen Birch, who I interviewed a few years ago, and I've been kind of shamelessly milking that interview ever since. Here's Stephen.
Yeah, the Japanese are very good at taking somebody's idea and kind of playing with it to make it better and more functional. So instead of making a round ball of moxa, you make your moxa shaped like a grain of rice so that the contact point on the skin is much smaller and it's shaped like a grain of rice and is the size of a grain of rice or a half grain of rice. And you don't roll it hard so it burns slowly. You roll it softly so it's molded softly to shape. So when it burns down, yes, there's a pinch of heat, but it's not the same kind of burning sensation or really, really hot sensations that you get when you're using the moxa pole.
So this idea of reducing dosage so that there's less heat is there within the theory of Japanese MOXIBUSTION, and it's there, as we've heard, in the application of Japanese MOXIBUSTION. But what I was amazed to see is it's also there within the manufacture of Japanese MOXA products. Let's talk about MOXA products. There's coarse, medium and fine MOXA. And coarse MOXA is made of three components, which is bits of stem, bits of leaf, and the very fine hairs on the underneath of the leaf, which are called trichomes. And this kind of moxa we find in moxa sticks because it's very twiggy and coarse, full of particulate matter, and we find it in platform moxa, and it's the kind of stuff, the very green moxa that we can put into, say, a moxa box. Medium grade moxa is already much more refined. It's composed of leafy matter and the trichomes. And it can be shaped very easily into large cones or into round balls that can be put on the end of the needles for kyutoshin, for example. Finally, there's fine moxa, and this is the most pure and refined moxa there is, and what Yamasho specialize in. And this moxa is made only of the trichomes. So there's no leafy matter and there's no stems. It's just composed purely of those very fine hairs that are found on the base of the leaf. So that means that it burns at a lower temperature than other kinds of moxa, and therefore it's very suitable for shaping into these very tiny cones that Stephen was talking about. So without further ado, let's go back in time to 2018 to my site visit to Yamasho. I'm in the countryside, about 8 hours from Tokyo, in Shiga Prefecture. I'm in a car on my way to Yamasho, which is a farm and factory for moxa. This moxa has just been harvested and it's a little bit damp because it's been raining, but they're going to leave it out here to dry for some time before taking it into the factory for processing. We were greeted at Yamasho by Miki-san, the general manager. The format went like this. Miki would explain stuff to Rio, my assistant, and then Rio would translate that for me, and then later I would present to camera with what I had understood. The moxa is refined in 3 stages: drying, milling, and finally sifting.
うちの場合は下からね熱風を吹き上げまして、で隣に燃焼室の方がありますので。
Over here is a heater which is going to blast hot air into these drying cupboards along here, and the moxa is put on these trays. And the hot air comes in around 100 degrees, and it can take about 8 hours for them to completely dry. And once they're dried, then they're taken immediately to the mills for processing. Okay, so I'm standing in the MOXA factory and the smell is amazing. It's just, I can smell herbs and it just smells so fresh, like I'm in a bathroom. This MOXA is recently harvested and you can tell it's a little bit soggy because the air is very humid. But you can see if I mash it up, like Miki-san was showing me, then it doesn't compress very much. But yeah, this is now the rainy season, so everything's a little bit humid.
初めぐらい、だから6月の中旬ぐらい、もう7月入りますとね、かなり大きくなってしまいますので、梅雨までですね。
So there are 3 mills, a coarse, a medium and a fine. We've just been watching Miki-san grinding some MOXA, so it comes out pretty coarse with a lot of twigs and particulate matter.
From the first one, it can be like used to
The
MOXA on the left is the coarsest milling and can be used for MOXA sticks or platform MOXA, whereas the one on the right is more fine and can be used for medium grade MOXA such as Kyutoshin.
So, but it's gonna be like that.
Yeah, it's going to be
after
processed,
that.
yeah. This is the Nagadoshi machine, which is used for the first stage of sifting. Okay, so here is where they sieve the MOXA. It's been processed and it's very dusty, so you can see here there's some bamboo slats. So the MOXA is put inside and the bamboo will keep turning round and round and round and sieving out until a lot of dust falls down to the bottom. And this dust so far is about half of what gets processed here every day. So 130 kg of MOXA gets processed every day and nearly 70 kg of dust comes out as a waste product. But they're trying to find uses for this waste product, so there are all kinds of things they might use it for. Windmills.
そうですね。ただ皆さん工場見学に来られて一番というのは
Okay, so this is like a big windmill inside, and the MOXA is put inside and spun around on the arms of the windmill, and the centrifugal force is going to take out the dust so that it becomes relatively pure. So this machine has cleaned up all the MOXA from the previous machine, but it's still not good enough. So here's the waste product from the second milling. It looks to me like cotton wool, but this is just the waste product. The real product is over here. Coming out of the machine, you can see the MOXA is much more pure, but still very dusty. Can you see all that dust coming off? So there are more stages of refinement, and this is just one more stage along the many steps for refining the MOXA. Alright, so this is the real stuff. It's a very fine grade refined MOXA, and to make this you have to refine an awful lot of MOXA, so only 4% of what went into the original machine has ended up here. So you need 100 kilograms of mugwort to make 4 kilograms of this. What an amazing place. It's like everything's industrial, but everything's made of wood. It's like all the machines are wooden, but it's just like being somewhere post-industrial, but still agricultural. It's really beautiful. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I obviously enjoyed making it. And you can see that these ideas of refinement, minimalization, and reducing the dosage as much as possible are there not just in the practice of Japanese MOXIBUSTION, but also in its manufacture. It was Dr. Manaka, the famous acupuncturist and medical doctor and researcher, who put this into words as maximum effect with minimum intervention. And these concepts are written into the fabric of Japanese acupuncture and MOXIBUSTION a bit like the lettering on the stick of rock candy. I'd like to finish by saying thank you, first of all to Miki-san and all the staff at Yamasho who welcomed us and allowed us to film, to Ryo Izawa, who was my assistant for 2 years and made the site visit possible, to Stephen Birch for his interviews and for all the information that he's brought from Japan to the West, and finally to Hiroshi Enomoto at Sankei, whose idea this site visit was in the first place. Thank you all, and thank you for watching.